You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have some good news today. The worst movie ever has now been made. And that means that no matter what comes next, it's going to be better than this. And we're going to watch the trailer together so we can experience it. Then we're going to talk about this Marvel finale, some news about Alden Ehrenreich. And then if we get to it, if we have enough time, we'll talk about that Thor Love and Thunder cameo that I didn't get a chance to talk about yesterday. So stay tuned for the Dan Wickline Show. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. It is Thursday, July 14th? Sure, July 14th. And we were blessed with this trailer yesterday. I only saw it this morning, and I knew I had to bring it to the show. This is Rob Zombie's The Munsters. And I want to make sure I get the cast exactly right, because we only see 3 of the Munsters. We don't get the son, and I don't think it's the daughter. Is it a cousin or what? We don't get the 2 kids, basically. We get Lily, we get Herman, and we get Grandpa. And Herman is played by Jeff Daniel Phillips, who has been in various things, including Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where he played Angar the Screamer. Grandpa Munster is Daniel Roebuck. He's one of those actors that you've probably noticed in a bunch of things, but you won't recognize him here. And playing Lily is Sherry Moon Zombie. How lucky it is that Rob was able to find the perfect Lily Munster so close to where he already was. Other people who are in this film are Cassandra Peterson, of course, Elvira, but she's going to be playing someone named Barbara Carr. Dee Wallace is going to be in it. Jorge Garcia, Richard Brake, Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor? Yeah, the 7th Doctor Who is going to be in this. Butch Patrick, who played the original Eddie Munster, is going to show up in it. And I think Pat Priest is in it as well, who I think was the daughter. Don't remember for sure how that worked. It's been a long time since I watched the Munsters, but I don't think Eddie or Marilyn, thank you, Marilyn have been confirmed to be in it. No, I think this is like them meeting and dating. So I don't think Eddie and Marilyn have been in it, but the actors are supposed to be in it. But let's go ahead and watch the trailer, because it's something special. Oh, we're not going to get sound, JD? I was hoping we'd have at least some sound.
The director of House of a Thousand Corpses, Halloween, and the Devil's Rejects brings you the greatest love story ever told.
There's your first warning sign.
I don't like the sound of that.
Think of it. The brain of a super genius transplanted into the body of a perfect
physical specimen.
I want a man that makes my blood run cold. A man that every time he enters my crypt, it's like a stake through my dead black heart.
I can whip you up a humpy down in the lab.
Oh, no. Remember what happened last time?
He was bad.
He's doing a good Grandpa Al Lewis voice.
Okay.
Looking for a vision, a queen, true love.
What exactly do you want?
Is Herman Munster in there? I knew the moment I laid eyes on you that you were special. I understand if you don't feel the same. I'm just a regular gal living a boring, normal life.
If there's one thing I know, is that the rest of the world melted away as soon as you appeared in my life.
It seems Miss Lily is truly in love.
Oh, come on. You know and I know that we got to get rid of that bozo Herman Munster.
I'm at a total loss for words at this.
Greetings from Transylvania. That's a strange way of saying hello.
Oh, I guess we're gonna have to get used to it.
I feel like I need that Kari or Kabi guy just to go. I am stunned how bad that looks. And I remember some of the old Munster stuff, and I know that they're going for that humor. And Fred Gwynn did a lot of mugging for the camera and a lot of funny voices. You know. Sorry, that was a little more Charles Nelson Riley than Fred Gwynn. But I don't know if it's the guy's voice or maybe it's just the way it's edited together. But my God, that looks bad. I mean, and it's going to go in theaters? I mean, yeah. It's the sound mixing looks horrible. The cutting between black and white and color. I mean, I know the show was in black and white, but I think one thing I would do is I would have left it in black and white, gone the Young Frankenstein route, and just made the movie black and white, because in color that looks horrible. And the colors are they're almost oversaturated. Like he kind of went, well, if we're going to do color, let's turn it up to 11. Yeah, just I can't see anything redeeming in there. And I'll give credit, Cheryl Moon Zombie does come across as the best acting in there. I feel like this is the movie you make if you absolutely hated the Munsters. Yes. Yeah. If you watched like one episode and went, well, that's crap, and then they went, can you make a movie of that? Well, yeah, I watched it once. I can do that. Sure. Yeah. But Rob Zombie is supposed to love the Munsters. I mean, he did a song about the race car in it. Josh says, I still don't know about the color, but I'm optimistic. I'm a big Zombie fan. I know he's very passionate about the Munsters. I'm waiting to reserve judgment, but that is an awful trailer. It is. That is an absolutely awful trailer. maybe the movie's better, because we have seen some wonderful trailers for bad movies. There is always the possibility that there's an awful trailer for a good movie. Maybe he punked us with that trailer. I'll be honest, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I actually liked Morbius more than I liked the trailer for it. What I saw in the trailer was turning me off. Actually watching the movie, it was like, okay, it's an all right movie. It's not as bad as the trailer made it out to be. So, that was really bad. That's why I had to share it, because I feel like we've set the bar, if not for the worst movie. I'm going to go with Josh. Maybe the movie's decent, and it's just a really bad trailer. But I think we have set the bar for possibly the worst trailer ever. Now, if that happens to lead into being the worst movie ever, wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think I'm as optimistic as Josh is. Now, I like Rob Zombie. I like his music a lot. He does good with the horror movies he makes. Maybe this is just so outside of his wheelhouse. I don't know. But I saw that today, and I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And I look out there, and it's kind of a universal reaction. Nobody is looking at that trailer going, I'm ready to see this. So hopefully there'll be another trailer that'll help, because that's not, at least for current audiences, the world has an allergy to camp right now. Yeah, this may not be the time for the movie. It wouldn't surprise, because they say it's coming in September 2022. Did they mean theaters, or is it being dropped like on Paramount Plus or Peacock, where no one's actually going to see it? They just kind of sneak it out there. So, all right, let's mercifully move on. IMDb streaming. Oh, you mean Freevee? I think their new IMDb is now called Freevee. So, all right, this is news that comes from Deadline, and it has to do with Alden Ehrenreich. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but I believe it's Ehrenreich, Alden Ehrenreich, who was, of course, the star of Solo. And I'm one of the few people who would love to see him return as Solo and do more stories. Or if they're going to do the Lando series and it's Donald Glover's Lando, I would like to see him show up in that. Because I thought he did fine. It's an impossible task to take over for Harrison Ford on something. But I thought he did a decent job, and it's a decent film. So, that aside, he has been cast now in the MCU. He's got a key role, according to Deadline, in Marvel's Ironheart series for Disney. It's coming up for Disney Plus. Now, Ironheart, of course, stars Dominic Thorne as Riri Williams, who we're going to meet in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. She's supposed to be a big part of that movie. But she's a genius inventor and creator who's made the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. So it's not more advanced than Iron Man's, but it's the most advanced since Tony Stark made his. The only other casting we know of is Anthony Ramos from Hamilton is supposed to be on board. Chinaka Hodge was recently tapped to be the head writer of the series, but we don't know what Ehrenreich's part is going to be. Will he be a bad guy? Will he be a friend, a teacher, a dueling scientist, Dr. Doom? Who knows? Ehrenreich recently wrapped production on Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, where he actually worked with Robert Downey Jr., Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, and Matt Damon. So that's quite a cast right there. And then after that, he's going to be seen in Universal Pictures feature The Cocaine Bear, or just Cocaine Bear, directed by Elizabeth Banks. I do not know what Cocaine Bear is going to be, but it's got my attention. And I'm kind of hoping it's about a bear on cocaine. Or a bear on cocaine, if you get the subtle differences. Either one would be an interesting movie. All right, so Alden Ehrenreich, what did you guys think of Solo? You know, there was a lot of negativity towards it in the beginning, and I think a lot of that had to do with people just not being comfortable with them recasting. Which is funny because Donald Glover is celebrated on his portrayal of Lando. And Kathleen Kennedy came out and said, well, we've learned that we're not going to recast our iconic characters. And it's like, really? Because you did it with Lando, you did it with Solo, you did it with Ben Kenobi. Because I'm pretty sure we just watched a 6-part series that did not star Sir Alec Guinness. Also, it had Anakin Skywalker. It had now I can't think of the Anakin's name. JD, who played Anakin? Josh says, I saw Solo long after it came out, but I thought it was fun. Hayden Christensen. And Hayden was the original Hayden was the original Darth Vader. That was David Prowse. So David Prowse wasn't walking around taking on Alec Guinness in that series. So, but I thought it was fun. I didn't get the hate. Yeah, I thought Solo was fun. And I'll tell you the truth. If you're going to give me, I'll take Solo and Rogue One over the other 3 movies any day of the week. So, yeah, I read what Josh said. Yeah, I will take Solo over the other ones. I actually liked Solo a little better than Rogue One. And it's not that I didn't like Rogue One, but Rogue One to me was lacking as an actual movie. Jay says, who does the artwork for your title card? That is DJ Kaufman. He did that for me a long time ago. Like, wow, when I was still married, he did one for myself and one for my wife. And he was doing commission, so he did those up for me, and I ended up using it for this. But yeah, that had to be like 10, 12, 14 years ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But we did talk to him about it before using it, and he was cool. So, DJ Kaufman, good artist. But yeah, I really like Solo. My problem with Rogue One is that it's not a full, complete movie. It's missing a lot of elements. There's no real character arcs. It's a bridge. It's like, okay, we're going to connect the dots between the end of the prequels and the beginning of A New Hope, which they did, which is exactly what they wanted to do. So from that, it was successful, and it's an enjoyable, entertaining time in the theater. It just misses some components to make it a good, strong, standalone movie. JD says, I think everyone was hoping for an actor that had all the same charisma as Harrison Ford. And for as good as Alden was, he was no young Ford. No. But Ford is a very unique actor. I mean, he's someone who could carry multiple franchises. That's rare, because not only is he Han Solo, who's probably most people's favorite character in Star Wars, or a lot of people's favorite. He's Indiana Jones. He's Decker from Blade Runner. He was able to pull off Jack Ryan for the Tom Clancy movies. I mean, those are 4 major franchises right there that he did successfully. And then you can throw a bunch of other movies on there as well. And yeah, that it's pretty impressive what he can do. And then you throw in like The Fugitive and Witness and just so many movies. He's a really amazing actor. And who just turned 80 yesterday, by the way, and is currently filming the 5th Indiana Jones movie. So, yeah, I don't think we were going to get a young Ford because it's impossible. We're going to get the best, and I think Alden did a good job, and I'd love to see more of him. Jay says, had someone ask me as I shared yesterday's video. Oh, okay, cool. And I appreciate you sharing the videos, by the way. That's very nice of you. JD says, Oscar Isaac would have been the best choice if he wasn't already Poe. Yeah, I could see that. Though ethnicity might be an issue. I don't know. Jay says, there's an actor who played a younger version of Ford in Age of Adeline that I could swear was Harrison himself. I don't know Age of Adeline. Indiana Jones and the Retirement Home of Doom. Mine was Indiana Jones and the Colostomy Bag of Doom. Let's see. JD says he looked like somebody's grandpa cosplaying Indiana Jones in the last movie. Yeah. I would be okay with them not doing another Indiana Jones movie or passing the mantle on to someone else. Not Shia LaBeouf. Not Chris Pratt. I would love to see them go with Alden Ehrenreich. Let's just go with him. Just make Alden Ehrenreich the new Indiana Jones. Just have him, whatever we're going to redo of Harrison Ford, just Alden Ehrenreich, just constantly. Just drive it home. It's like, no, this is young, this is him. This is who we're doing. All right. Let's go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when we come back, we will talk about the Miss Marvel finale that had some huge things at the very end and was just a really cool story. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
Comic Collectibles is here for you every Wednesday with AR Comics for 2 very important reasons. To sell you rare, one-of-a-kind comics that you'll love, and to confuse AR with old man talk. You see, Rex and John are, how should I put this, ancient as the roots of the mountains. So every week, Rex and John fill in AR in yet another area of pop culture that he missed because he's too young, just didn't have the time, or just really doesn't care about. It's a real public service they provide. Come buy some super rare and unique comics, while old men explain long-dead sci-fi shows to a younger man making that confused puppy face. Every Wednesday from 6 to 8 Eastern with Rex, John, and AR Comics. Comic Collectibles on The Experience. Comic culture and sales.
Are you a comic creator? Are you a publisher? Do you make a comic book product? Do you own a retail store? Do you do something I haven't thought of? Who are you and what do you do? Let us know by advertising on The Experience and invite our viewers to patronize your product. Message the EXP on social media or email us the_EXP@yahoo.com for more details.
JD, what's that link? I can't click on it during the show, so
That is the lovely song called Shia LaBeouf by a man named Rob Cantor, performed by the LA Gay Men's Choir. Have you seen it before? If you haven't, you have to watch it.
I have not. I'll check it out after the show. All right, let's do the spoiler banner and warning and all that stuff. All right, so Miss Marvel wrapped up the other night, and I have been consistently surprised by the show. I wasn't that thrilled with the first episode. It was okay. It was, I literally said, it's good, but it's not for me. I'm not Spider-Man movies were not for me. I don't go in for the teen angst. I wasn't into John Hughes films. Yes, Better Off Dead was awesome, but Pretty in Pink and stuff like that, they were like, okay. They're not my thing. I saw them, but they're not my thing. Episode 2, I got more into. And there were things I liked about the first one. I really liked the dad in the first one and the enthusiasm he had when it was, when they put him in the Hulk cosplay and how hurt he was when she said she'd be embarrassed to go with him. I was like, oh, my heart breaks for that man. I didn't like that she lied to her parents. It's something about YA stories that always bug me, how often the protagonists lie or not confide in adults. I always find that to be a problem. Yes, I'm old. Episode 2 definitely got more of my attention. I really liked how they were breaking down the community. They were talking about the Muslim culture, the different events, the mosque, how each of the cliques worked in the mosque. I found all that a lot more interesting than I thought I would. And the show just kept building from there. I loved the episode that took place in Karachi. I thought that was great. I mean, I'd already been, the marriage episode was wonderful. I loved the dance scene. Again, none of the stuff that I thought was going to get my attention. The stuff that I would actually have thought would have turned me away from the show was the stuff that I was connecting with. I was really enjoying learning all this new stuff about a culture that I had a little experience with when I was younger. When I was in high school, I became friends with an immigrant from Pakistan. I got some of, would talk and stuff and learn a little bit, but never really got that deep into it. I was only, he was only around for a couple of years before he moved again. So it was fascinating to me. But like I said, absolutely loved episode 4 with them going over to Karachi and immediately fell in love with the grandma. Nani was just amazing. While in Karachi, you really get to understand the mom better and that, she's not everything that we think she is. She put on the mom hat because she had kids, but there's a lot more to her. Really enjoyed the 5th episode where they went back to the time of the partition and we watched Aisha and Hassan fall in love and have a baby and try to get out of India and to Pakistan in time. And, you could consider this an Eid show, like Hawkeye was a Christmas show. Yes. Yes, I could absolutely see that. Because the Ea does play a huge part of the second episode. So, but the thing that threw me off on the fifth episode was when it kind of wrapped up the whole story about the clandestine. You know, it's like, well, yeah, Kamran's still out there, but the bad guys are done. It's like, well, wait, do we have any bad guys? Why are we coming back for a fifth episode? Because there doesn't seem to be anything left. We kind of took care of the bad guys. We got rid of them. We didn't open the portal and destroy the world. The clandestine are gone. Why are we coming back for a sixth episode? And then we got the sixth episode. And it was so much fun. And so much fan service in a lot of ways. You know, I know a lot of people weren't happy that they changed Kamala's power. And I understood why. I mean, I could see the different reasons why they did. But they gave us kind of a substitute. You know, she's sitting there, she's fighting damage control, and damage control become the bad guys here, but not all of damage control. An overzealous agent who's in charge becomes the bad guy. But she uses her powers, her new powers, very similar to the powers in the comics, and she even says the word embiggen, which I know just about every fan I know of the character was like, oh my God, she said it. Mind you, that's not the only time they say that reaction in the series, in the episode. But, you know, she basically builds herself a hard light armor, cast around her body that she can stretch and use. And I thought that was a brilliant take on the power to tie it back into her powers as a character. So, I mean, she wasn't doing like the super stretchy things she's doing here, but she was stretching out her hands and her arms and legs and stuff and growing bigger and embiggening. So I thought they did that really well. There was this... I love the scene in the opening where she decides to tell the rest of her family that she is, you know, the unnamed character, or the one they're calling Nightlight, which she hates that name. And there's this moment she's with the family and she tells them, and they're like, oh my God, I never would have guessed. And the father's like, oh, really? And she's like, you told him already. And the mom's like, yeah, I told him. I told you, your father. And he, of course, had his phone on speaker, which I thought was awesome, because it just continues what an amazing family this is, which is, again, weird for me, because normally the family stuff I don't care about in these shows, but I fell in love with this family. Just absolutely enjoyed their interaction and how they reacted to things. They weren't, oh my God, you're going to die. Oh, you know, yeah, the dad was concerned, like, you know, just because you have these powers doesn't mean you need to go out looking for trouble. And she says to him, but Abu, you didn't raise me to not help people, that when I can, if I can help people, you know, I should. And you raised me that way. And I thought it was just really well done, the reveal. And then the mom basically makes the costume for her. And there's this neat nod to her mom and also to the Bengal, because it's in one of those toffee boxes that were all over her mom's house. And and the Bengal had come from her mom's house, or her, you know, from Karachi, in one of those toffee boxes. So the fact that she gave her the costume in the toffee box, and you get the feeling that perhaps the mom and the grandma worked together on it, and they brought it back from Karachi, you know, and gave it to her there. JD says, it's weird to see a generally unmessed up family on TV. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what I really liked about it. It was such a unique family and just so much fun. And, no one is trying to mess with her or get her in trouble. They all are very supportive. The brother shows up to help out against the not GCPD. Wow, Department of Damage Control. GCPD showing up. That would have been a surprise. Josh says Nightlight is a cooler hero name than Miss Marvel. Yeah, but there's a neat scene at the end of this show where we get the character's name, and it's the dad that gives it to her, and it has to do with what Kamala means. And in Hindi, I think it means wonderful, but in Urdu it means something more like marvel or something. I mean, I don't remember the exact wording, but and he says, we had a hard time having a second child, and then when you finally came, we named you Kamala because you were this magical thing. Arabic was perfect. Urdu, it means wonder or marvel. Thank you, JD. And he says, you've always been our Miss Marvel. Now, she has already had this huge obsession with Captain Marvel. So her dad basically gave her her name. And it's just perfect for her, Miss Marvel connection to the character. So that was a neat moment too. So the mom giving her the costume, the dad giving her the name really reinforces how much her family is important to her and for her as a character. And it doesn't, unlike just about every other Marvel character or every other superhero out there, it's not born of tragedy. It's not born because Uncle Ben was shot or the Waynes were killed in an alley or an entire planet was destroyed. It comes from just being raised by loving parents. And that is so unique in comics. I mean, you really don't see a lot of that. So I really like that. The way they get everybody together to help Cameron. I would have preferred it didn't happen at the school. I get why they did. But I think with everything going on, and I know this was filmed a while ago, but with everything going on the last few weeks with Uvalde and stuff, maybe having it in a school with a bunch of armed, may not have been. But then again, like I said, it was filmed way long ago before any of that happened. So, but yeah, let's just going forward not have confrontations in schools for a while. Just put that out there across the board. That said, I really liked how everybody came together. Bruno and Nakia and Zoe and her brother. And they're all like, yeah, we're going to help. And the Home Alone-esque setup they did with, everybody wearing the same hoodie and running around. And, I loved when they were hiding in the mosque, and the rabbi, not the rabbi, I don't know the term. The mosque, the religious leader of the mosque turns and goes, you need disguises. The imam, thank you. When the imam turns around and says, you need disguises, and he hands them hats, and he's like, okay, you can go. And it's like, it's just such a rip on Marvel because that's how everybody hides in the Marvel universe. They put on a hat and that's it. You can go through all the movies that there's, I'm going to hide, I'm going to put a hat on. I mean, there was the scene in Ant-Man where they're all walking with baseball caps on and Paul Rudd or Scott Lang just goes, we look like ourselves at a baseball game. So I love that. But and when the damage control walks in, they're all sitting there with their IDs already out. Like, yeah, we've done this before. But I really enjoyed the Home Alone thing with the firing. Better than trying to hide a 10-year-old under a trench coat. And first, you have to establish that there are trench coats in your universe. That's the weakest part of the Kenobi series. But I really liked a lot of that, and the whole, but you could see Cameron kind of losing it, dealing with the pain and stuff of his new powers, and also finding out that his mom's dead. So you get that confrontation between damage control, Cameron, and Kamala trying to control the situation, keep everybody from getting hurt. The moment that she knocks out the car, and then there's the two guys inside, and she's like, "Are you two okay?" "Yes, Miss Nightlight." "Not that name." But I thought it was really, really well done. I thought it was a good finale. It was probably one of the better finales of the series. And I'm not sure exactly where I would place this. Like, if I was going to rank all the Disney Plus series so far. But it's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. It won't be. I won't say it's the highest, because I really liked Moon Knight. I really liked Hawkeye. See, Hawkeye to me is the most rewatchable because it's just fun and stuff, where the other ones are there's a lot of unknown and stuff that once you know it, it doesn't play as well. But it's pretty interesting. But the two scenes at the end are really the things worth talking about. You have when they meet up after she gets her name and she does the sitting on the light post. JD says, "I feel like this episode was a perfect representation of how American Muslims get caught between terrified white government officials and angry, broken Muslim men." Yes, it's a really well done take on that. You're right. But it's a week after a thing, and Bruno and Nakia and Kamala are meeting up, and Bruno's got Cameron's car. And Nakia gets the line of, "Get in, losers, we're going for shawarma," which is a nice callback to, a couple different things, including the ending of the Avengers movie. But Bruno tells her, "I went back and I looked at your scans and stuff because your brother wanted to know if he would have powers and discovered that you are different than the rest of your family. You have a mutation." Now, right there, you could just go, "Oh, they're just using the word." I mean, she's an inhuman, or you could almost miss that or miss the importance of it, except they play that little musical stinger. Yes, they play the tune from X-Men animated series. It's the same one they played in Doctor Strange when Professor Xavier comes out in his hover chair. They're trying to tell us, meet your first mutant in the MCU. The first known mutant in the MCU. I'm sure there's others, and we'll find out about them. But this is the first acknowledged mutant in the MCU. And I know a lot of people are like, "Well, wait a minute. No. She's an Inhuman." We didn't hear it until we saw it in the credits and went back. I heard it when I clicked, but yeah, it's subtle, but it's definitely there. But the reason they're doing it is that, and G. Willow Wilson, the co-creator of the character, has come out and said that originally Kamala was planned to be a mutant. She became an Inhuman because of the internal orders to not create new mutants. because Fox had the rights to the characters, and the higher-ups, Ron Perlman, had said, no more mutants. We want to, we don't want to create new IP for Fox, so let's just use Inhumans instead. So there was a mandate that if you were creating a new character that needed to have a mutant type origin, that they needed to be an Inhuman. So the original plan was, or at least considered, to make her a mutant, and then she was made an Inhuman. So they're kind of just moving her back. Also, I think that even though we got Black Bolt in Doctor Strange, I think it's going to be a while before we really get Inhumans in the MCU again. There is that kind of bad taste left in people's mouth from the TV show, and they were all over the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So there and there was that, Ron Perlman almost tried to force his hand to make the Inhumans happen against Kevin Feige's wishes. Kevin Feige didn't want to deal with the Inhumans yet, and Perlman was pushing it. So I think there's a lot of there. So I expect the Inhumans. The Black Bolt casting was cool, but I don't expect to see more Inhumans for a while. It's like I don't think we're going to get Lockjaw popping up anytime soon with Miss Marvel. Now, the second surprise had to do with the post-credit scene. And there's some confusion here, and I understand why there's some confusion. But when Kamala first got her powers, because she has the ability to transform her body, she basically transformed into Carol Danvers, who was her hero and was wearing the original Miss Marvel costume, or one of the original Miss Marvel costumes. That's not what happens here. This is more based on the old Captain Marvel comics from the 70s, where he had these things called the Negabands, and also Rick Jones, a sidekick for hire, basically, who was he was the one that basically made the Hulk get stuck in the Gamma Bomb. He hung out with Cap for a while, then he hung out with Captain Marvel. He had these Negabands where things got in trouble, he'd slam them together, and he would swap places with Captain Marvel, who was otherwise stuck in the negative zone, and they would swap back and forth, and these were the Negabands. Well, that's what this looked like to me, and I'm hearing that's what happened, is that she swapped places with Carol Danvers. That was Captain Marvel at the end in the New Jersey kid's bedroom. And that's why you look at her reaction, she's not looking at herself going, oh my God, why do I look like this? And looking in a mirror, she's looking around to see all these drawings and pictures of herself on the walls, trying to figure out where the hell am I and who is so obsessed with me. So I also really liked the new costume. I thought it was better than the previous ones. I like the darker blue. I like the cut of it. I like that she had the gloves and the sleeves were partly rolled up. I'm really curious to see if that's going to be the look she has in the new movie, because I'm all for that. And of course, they do the stinger for Miss Marvel return in the Marvels. So yeah, you get all that put together, and I think that's awesome. I really liked the ending. I really liked how they put it together. I love the Brie Larson appearance. We've been talking about it. And, there's a good chance it'll be Brie Larson or Teyonah Parris, and we got Brie Larson. But we did it in such a way that was more of a surprise than her just showing up, going and recruiting her or something like that. There's definitely more of a story element there, and I like that a lot. So Josh says, my only problem with it seemed clear that the first 5 episodes went to great lengths to explain exactly where powers come from. That last scene felt like something filmed later for hype. It could be, or it could be that they were going one direction and then the Marvels movie is going to take it in a slightly different direction. So they needed to add that mutant thing. I think it'll become more clear why they did that in the Marvels. So, but we shall see. Yeah, like I said, I thought they really stuck the landing. The mutant thing was maybe fan service, but the appearance of Captain Marvel I thought was really good. But overall, I really did like the series. I love the fact that her parents and her brother are supposed to be in the Marvels movie as well. So it's not like they're just going to be forgetting them. And, it's just her family is as much part of Miss Marvel as Kamala is. So you need them. But I'm curious how that's going to work, whether it is going to be a thing where they switch back and forth. How ironic would it be for someone who is so obsessed with Captain Marvel to not be able to meet her because she keeps switching places with her? I kind of like that idea. It's like, so you met her? What's she like? Well, she was just here. Yeah, but I don't get to meet her. We swap, So I think that would actually be kind of ironic and funny. And and if those two are connected that way, then we just got to see how Tiona Paris's character of Monica Rambeau ends up in it. So it's a pretty interesting twist. And I like where they went with it. I really enjoyed the series. I think it's more rewatchable than some of the others. I liked WandaVision, but I've never had an urge to sit down and rewatch WandaVision. Loki was kind of the same way, because once you know what's going to happen, you're kind of there. Hey, Kenneth. JD says, we're getting Namor next. Maybe he'll explain all about Homo Superior in the MCU and Black Panther. Yeah, there's a possibility of that. There's some leaks out there about what Black Panther is going to be like, other big bads that are going to show up in the film. I don't know how legit they are, but it's pretty interesting if any of that turns out to be true. So you might want to avoid, if you don't want to know anything about it, avoid anything that says, hey, we got leaks for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, because they're pretty huge if that is where they're going. So, yeah. Next, we're going to get She-Hulk. That's going to kick off in August. And that's going to be a little bit different format. It's the WandaVision format where the episodes are shorter. There's more of them. And it's going to be more of a humorous take. So I'm really, it'd be a nice change of pace to see how they're going to do that. We're also supposed to get Andor around the same time. So it'll be interesting to have, because Andor is a longer series too. So we're going to have a while of covering both She-Hulk and Andor around the same time. So I'm looking forward to that, because that's 2 shows right there during the week. I love when we get stuff like that. So, all right, guys, it's been a week. I apologize for bailing out at the end of the show yesterday. I'm dealing with my insurance company, and they were calling to explain to me why they can't actually get me into the one thing I need and why this other thing is better. And it sounds like a bunch of BS to me, but I'll be going to check that out on Monday. So hopefully will do what I needed to do. We shall see, but that's why I had to bail, because it was a call I absolutely had to take. So apologies on that. I'm going to keep the cameo talk until next week. I'm hoping to actually get over and see Thor, in which case I can do a whole episode on it. I also plan on finally watching Doctor Strange and doing an episode on that, and we'll talk more about Only Murders in the Building. There's some other good shows out there too. I want to check out The Old Man. I after yesterday, I have to give the Terminal List another shot, a little bit more time. So we enjoyed seeing JD live and in person. Did JD pop up? That's cool. I'm glad he popped up and finished out the show. So, all right, guys. Lies. No one enjoys that. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap that up there. Apologies that I forgot to take a second commercial break, but we were going good on Miss Marvel. So we will come back on Tuesday and probably talk about Doctor Strange, since we don't have the boys anymore. So we'll talk about Doctor Strange on Tuesday. So make sure you guys have all watched it, and we'll have a good spoiler discussion about that. So have a great weekend, and see you all on Tuesday. Good night, everybody.
There's a super new way to support your friends over at The Experience. Head over to YouTube and send us a super chat, a super sticker, or a super thanks. We'll be super grateful for your support, and then keep an eye out as we launch membership services over on YouTube. It'll be a great way to get first look access at new content and shows before anybody else. Keep your eyes peeled and